is going on YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review a collaboration mixtape by Currensy and Mack Maine. Basically, this product is called G Series Volume 1, and it came out in the spring of 2006. Now, back around this time in like the mid-late 2000s, Currensy in particular, which I originally didn't realize that this was a collaboration mixtape, but Mack Maine is a part of this as well. But Currensy was an affiliate of Lil Wayne as far as those pitches going to happen. He was originally going to be his wingman, and the next to drop as far as those pitches going to happen around the Carter 2 era as far as that particular going to went. He was on like the Carter 2 a little bit, affiliated on like Lil Wayne's mixtapes like Dedication 2, some of those type of eras. So it was a good concept. He was one of Lil Wayne's original wingmen before Drake and some of those type of folks, and before Young Money really started popping off as far as the pitch going to happen. But unfortunately, the album that was supposed to come out on Lil Wayne's either Young Money label or the Cash Money label by Currensy just never happened. It just kind of dissipated. He did at least drop a hit single called Where to Cash At, which is on this particular product, and he did have some other singles that I want to say at least a couple of those had Lil Wayne on there. But the album just kind of got jet lagged, and then this never happened, which is pretty unfortunate. I'm not even sure if it's in unreleased type format, if it ever got completed or shelved or something like that. But for the most part, most of that information is kind of scarce nowadays. I suppose it just doesn't have the full-blown display as far as that would particularly going to happen with it. But this is some excellent type fare. I definitely wanted to gobble up some of this type of stuff from Currensy on like the Cash Money days, because it just feels like it's just a lot more low-key. It's not as common that it's really talked about, and I don't know how many full-blown folks remember. I think folks will probably remember that he was affiliated with Lil Wayne, but it's just kind of the concept, the product of some of the stuff that he did with them is just kind of more elusive in these times, I'd have to say. So, it's just kind of more elusive in these times, that I'd say, which is unfortunate, but I look after the concept. This is still a pretty stellar mixtape here. It's definitely going to get a highly excellent type score to kind of have. Definitely it makes one hungry for more projects just within that fare, because Currensy was, like I was saying, a pretty great wingman for Lil Wayne back in those particular days. He had some good songs. He was on like Dead Presidents with Lil Wayne and some of those type ones. There's different various hits from Dedication 2 and some of like the mid-late 2000s Lil Wayne mixtape. So this is basically like getting like a second helping of like that standard Lil Wayne style. It's unfortunate that you don't get any Lil Wayne exclusives on here. The thing about it is, the songs that Lil Wayne is on this particular mixtape are the same songs that are on Dedication 2 as far as those fairs going to happen. So if you're hoping for like a secret batch of Lil Wayne songs, that probably would have been the icing on the cake to have given this mixtape like a 10 out of 10, but it doesn't secure any. It probably would have been the icing on the cake to secure a 10 out of 10 for this product, but it doesn't secure any exclusives as far as those pitches going to happen. But look at it, still excellent type fair. It's definitely going to get over a 9 out of 10, just the excellent type pitch. Currency's pretty good, lyricist, and Mack Maine's pretty good as well, just within the pitch behind it. So some good type fare. Just look after the overall tone behind it, just some excellent typeness going to get here. So the thing about this mixtape is it's not really a single, and there are a couple original songs on here which I pointed out. I want to say that there's at least 3 of these, but for the most part it's just freestyles to popular songs from 2005-2006 era. Songs like Front Back by T.I. and Can I Have It Like That by Pharrell, and What You Know by T.I. and Jeezy's I'm a G from his camp and the Snowman Project, some of those type ones. I'd had to say some of those type ones. Poppin' My Collar by 3 6 Mafia, some of those type ones. But I would look after it. The 3 songs at least seemed relatively to be designated to new. And the thing about it is just kind of the concept that the mixtape I downloaded has different names for some of these songs than the format that's on rateyourmusic.com. So I'm just going to refer to them. I may not know every single song as to the different name that it particularly kind of has, just because I'd have to spend some time looking towards it. But I at least did that for the song That's the Shit, which is also called on Rate Your Music Ball Bats. So That's the Shit is basically like, this song feels like a quality stock kind of Don Cannon mixtape cut, I'd have to say here. Pretty standard grind, I'd have to say about this one. Just some good day outings to kind of have. Just feels like that typical fare. There's like, I want to say there's like a song on like a DJ Drama album called Cannon, something like that, and Lil Wayne raps that one. It says very similar, just feels completely like a stock and just signature kind of Don Cannon type beat to some of that type fare with that standard kind of just sampled, kind of throwback to like that kind of just more 70s sample kind of bravado as far as those pitches will kind of happen. Just where you hear the cannon, and it keeps saying that over and over, just pitches like that. Just some of that standard type fare. Just feels like a standard outing just within the pitch behind it, just ripped out of 2006, some of that type fare. Sports game outing, just day on the grind, just within a mixtape sense that I had to say. Just going and getting like some Subway, something like that, just standard fare, just appreciating the ambience. Just kind of, it's an out and about type song, but just in a more mixtape type format. So I actually want want to say is not a super ton of these folks that kind of had songs like this around this particular time with the Don Cannon type fair. More normally these type tracks were not as much of just like day traverse and kind of more cruise around as far as this pitch kind of happens. So this is actually a more social kind of Don Cannon type production when compared to just the standard fare. Most of them being kind of more just on the grind or house cleaner or just more kind of hustle type songs just in the pitch. But this is actually one where you're just out in the sunshine. And then I Don't Need You is the other one that I felt like there is another one on here that is called Gangsta that's really like the only song. There's a song on here called Gangsta, which is on the particular, I want to say on the particular version that's on Rachel Music, it's called Fly Spitta. But basically, to refer to the song Gangsta just downloaded in the mixtape, that one just didn't really have like an affable enough production. Just kind of felt like a worse version of like the song Word of Cash had as far as this pitch kind of happened. It was just kind of a skittery type nightclub or dance club type beat that just didn't really, just felt like a flatter type version. Didn't really have much fizz or electricity towards as far as this pitch kind of happened. It was just more of like in between type fare that just didn't jump off the page. To say about this song, if you can't find the song Gangsta as to what I'm talking about, it's just basically a song that is 3 minutes and 24 seconds. It has the name Gangsta. If you find the mixtape and you find a song that's 3 minutes and 24 seconds and it has the name Gangsta, that's probably the song I'm talking about. But this was the only song on this album. It's basically out of 14 songs that are on this particular mixtape. There's 19 songs on this mixtape, and minus like the intro, outro, and 2 skits, that narrows it down to 14. But the 15th song, when I said there was 19, there's a song that was not included on the mixtape download, which is just Lil Wayne's Hustler Music from the Carter 2, which is probably just because that's a copyrighted song as far as this pitch kind of happens. So it's basically, you get 18 songs in the mixtape download, and 4 of them are skits. That narrows it down to 14. Out of the 14 songs on here, I wound up recommending 13, which the only song I don't recommend is this Gangsta, which is the 3 minute 24 second one. That is kind of the pitch. So but there is at least another original song on here, which is the song I Don't Need You. This feels like it's a Pharrell or Neptune's beat. This may not be an exclusive song like I originally thought it was, but I kind of look after it just being able to say it's still a song I wasn't able to designate. Most of these songs from the 2005-2006 era, I was able to know the ones that they came from. But this is a song where I couldn't figure out as to where it originated. Might have been just, I mean, it would have been pretty good for Currensy and Mack Maine to have secured a Neptune's beat, but I'm not really sure as to who did this particular song. But this feels like this was something Pharrell did or something like that. But it may have been on Pharrell's mixtape. I know Pharrell dropped a mixtape in 2006, which not too many folks know about. That was kind of the accompaniment, but I don't know if that came out before. I know In My Mind came out in the summer of 2006. I don't know when the mixtape came out, but I look after it. It might have been one of the songs off there. But basically, I Don't Need You is like a simmering kind of night venue ambience. I'd have to say about this one, just feels like a Neptune's kind of lounge lizard vibe to kind of get here. And it's a good song to drinks up and just kind of marinate in a nightclub and just kind of appreciate the ambience as far as those pitches kind of happen. Just real lazy type one. Mellow kind of slurred out type vibe to kind of get just with like the vibe of kicking back and just kind of hanging out in a booth or pitches like that. Just enjoying just the concepts of this being slurred and some pitches like that. Maybe being a little bit tipsy, some of that type fare. This lounge lizard typeness kind of get the standard bartender chit chat as far as those pitches kind of happen. Chit chat with the Chica bartender as far as that would kind of go. But look, that's the tone in terms of like the original songs. I would definitely say that that's the shit. Is definitely like some day grind. It has to say standard outing. And I Don't Need You's like a lounge lizard kind of night venue ambience, I'd have to say. But there are some ones on here. Let's talk about some of these ones. They're kind of more just freestyles. I mean, Currency's pretty good at this. Mac Miller's pretty good at this. It's just standard fare within some of these. They freestyle to some songs like Get Throwed by Bun B, which is off of his Trill album. I'm a G by Jeezy from his Can't Ban the Snowman mixtape. Pretty good that had an instrumental to have. Front and Back by T.I. off of King. Can I Have It Like That by Pharrell. What You Know by T.I. off of King. Some of those I ones. Just standard typical hop and bop. Most of these productions, all of these productions that they choose to freestyle to, they also have one by The Game to put you on the game, some of those type ones. Just standard poppin' singles as far as those pitches kind of happen from the 2005-2006 era. Good type stuff. They have some pretty good choices. They just go in on it like Lil Wayne would back in those days. Then there's an extra bonus song on here that was a pretty good. This is probably one of the best songs off of Dedication 2, in my opinion, by Lil Wayne, was the song This Is What I Call Her. And basically Currensy and Mack Maine freestyle this song. Now on this particular mixtape, at least on the mixtape that I downloaded, I don't know if this name is the same name as on I don't know if this name is the same name on Rate Your Music, but it's called Lovin' It, which is to the instrumental of This Is What I Call Her by Lil Wayne. And basically the concept of that particular song, Lovin' It, on the mixtape is 2 minutes and 43 seconds. So it's just the concept. If you remember the song This Is What I Call Her by Lil Wayne off of This Is What I Call Her by Lil Wayne off the Dedication 2 mixtape, this is that same song just with these cats on there. So it's pretty good type fair, excellent type song like I was saying. That's the pitch behind it. So in terms of me, normally if I recommended 13 out of 14 songs, the mixtape would get a 10 out of 10. But because there's actually only 9 songs that are exclusive to this project that I recommend out of 14, I wound up recommending 13 songs out of 14, but 2 of them are to be found in albums. Like Shovelin' Snow, surprisingly, is on here. That was on Birdman's album. I don't know why that one was available for download. That's off of his 2005 album. And then Riding With That K, or Where the Cash At is, and Where the Cash At was one of Currency's singles that was kind of released as like available for purchase back in the 2005-2006 era. So those are both songs. It's nice to be able to scoop up Currency's single to get that particular pitch once again. It's also, I want to say, on Dedication, some other projects floating around, but it's just kind of a concept that you can find at plenty of other places. So that's 2 songs that are on elsewhere, and then the concept of like Popping Them Bottles and Riding With That K, which are just Dedication 2 songs from Lil Wayne's projects. I'd have to say, basically 9 out of 14 plus 4 songs that are on other projects, 13 out of 14. I'm just going to give this mixtape like a 9.5 out of 10. I realize that getting 9 exclusives that are pretty damn good is pretty excellent type fare, but I still think within the concept this would be a little bit shy of being a 10 out of 10 because there probably need to be at least 1 or 2 more. It's just within the pitch. It's not to say just in terms of being greedy, but there's just some ones on here that are also to be found elsewhere. So this is kind of the pitch. Real excellent bravado on here, some excellent type fare, just getting a secret project of Currency back in his Cash Money days in Mack Maine when he's not too commonly around. He's usually in the background, more in like the capo type fare as far as doing stuff with Lil Wayne's Young Money and Cash Money, some of those type fares. It's not common that he really drops verses, but apparently he did have some stuff, so some good type fares. Just look within the pitch behind us. This is some excellent typeness kind of get. Once again, very vastly unfortunate that Currency album from Cash Money never came out. Probably would have been filled with songs like Where to Cash At, and some of those type ones probably would have been like a miniature kind of the Carter 2, because that was the time when, Currency didn't make it to the Carter 3 by Lil Wayne. I think he had left Cash Money by that point, but I think Currency was like a real apple, like lieutenant kind of wingman back in like the Carter 2 days. Would have been some excellent type fare to got some bonus content just like that. But that's just kind of the concepts. That's a good pitch. But yeah, G Series Volume 1 gets a 9.5 out of 10. The social score I'll go ahead and give probably like, I would say, I just would look after it, probably like a 9.5 out of 10 as well. Just within the tone, it's a little bit tricky just because the concept that there wasn't really. I think probably the single off this project was just Where to Cash At, just because that was the song that was the song that Currency was trying to promote. I look after some good standard appeal, kind of get some of that, and these are capable lyricists. They were Lil Wayne slime around that time, so chances are, if you looked hard enough, Lil Wayne would probably promote this product to say, if you like Dedication 2, this would be a good concept of something within that meld to kind of get, but just within the tone. It's a little bit more low-key to find. Luckily, it is available as far as those pitches kind of happens just within the tone. It is unfortunate that there's not any exclusive Lil Wayne songs on here, but it's just kind of within the pitch. These guys do good on their own as far as that particular kind of goes. But that's about the only real slag to this project. It's not a big deal. There's one song that I don't recommend, don't give a damn. That's just 1 out of 14. So that's real superb as far as those pitches kind of happen. It's just kind of concept. It just doesn't have any Lil Wayne exclusives. That's the pitch. So 9.5 social as far as that particular one goes. In terms of future, Currency has dropped plenty of projects. He's been affiliated. He's a pretty good affiliate with Wiz Khalifa as far as that particular one goes. He's dropped a number of albums. He's kind of just like a pseudo kind of independent underground type cat nowadays. Doesn't have Lil Wayne affiliation anymore, but he does have plenty of good projects, and he spits pretty well as far as that particular one goes. Just an excellent type fare. So that's a good concept here. This is a virtual classic, another classic out of the Don Cannon DJ, another mixtape classic out of the DJ drama, Don Cannon type days, like the 2005, 2007, 2006 era as far as those pitch can happen. Definitely recommend it.